Hello garden friends, and welcome to my Sunday morning backyard garden tour. In today's video, I am going to walk you around my garden and show you what's going on, but I thought it would be fun to start this video with a little update on my new kitten, Angel. As you can see, Angel and Abby have quickly become best friends. They're literally inseparable. They play together all day, they sleep together, and they love each other so much. Nothing brings me more joy than to see animals getting along. However, my beautiful cat Cookie, well, let's just say that's another story. I don't think Cookie has gotten used to the fact that there's another cat in the house, especially a bratty little kitten like Angel. Yep, Angel is a little brat. He's trying so hard to make friends with Cookie, but she's just not having it. She's definitely not ready. Everything takes time, and I know in another month or two, Angel and Cookie will be best friends, and eventually they'll be playing together as well. Angel is definitely a curious little kitten, and one of his favorite places to play is in my bridge garden. I'm always finding him under the bridge exploring, playing with rocks and leaves and just having a good old time. And recently, he just discovered the chickens. If Angel thought Cookie was hard to make friends with, well, I don't think the chickens are going to be much easier. So I only let Angel in the garden when I'm out with him, just to keep him safe and so he doesn't get into too much trouble. So without further ado, let's get started. Since we're right here, let me show you my beautiful and gorgeous sweet potato vine. We now named this the Monster because it's actually growing 2 feet a week and it's trying to make its way into my house. One of my viewers jokingly said, "Hey Liz, I think your sweet potato vine is trying to come in for the winter time." I think she's right, and that is such a funny comment. I love it. And inside the vintage bathtub is a beautiful citrus lantana. That's just one plant, and it's definitely spreading out since I removed the Super Tunia Vista bubble gum. I'll end up pruning this back in the winter, and then it will come back every spring, and it'll just continue to get bigger and bigger. Behind that, I'm growing some chili peppers. Because my garden is so small, I like to make use of all the space that I have. So you wouldn't know it just by looking from this angle that I have 2 pots back there. They like the cooler weather so much better. There's lots of little chilies on these plants. In the summertime, the weather was getting so hot, all the little flowers were falling off, and I couldn't understand why my plant wasn't producing any peppers. And then I researched it and discovered that chili peppers like temperatures under 90 degrees. So now my plant is finally producing lots of chilies. And look at my friends, my beautiful Elizabeth Angus bougainvillea. It's blooming again. I really thought it was done. And look at the sweet potato vine is coming out into the garden as well. This was the funnest thing I've ever grown, seriously. I mean, not only do I love the chartreuse green color, but I just love the way it's just trailing wherever it wants to, and definitely a lot of fun in the garden to have plants that kind of have minds of their own, if that makes sense. I know it sounds silly. Yeah, look at my bougainvillea. A lot of people don't know this, but did you know that bougainvillea flowers are not really flowers at all? They're actually called bracts. The actual flower is that tiny little yellowish, creamyish colored center. And the outside, well, these are the bracts. They're like colored leaves. I just find that so interesting. So I have my bougainvillea trained to go over the patio roof. I have little wires underneath there, and I think it'll look so lovely, hopefully, if it just makes its way across the roof. See, so when I'm sitting in my patio, I'll have beautiful purple color all the way across. Speaking of color, what I've really done a lot this year is I've added color to my garden without flowers, but I'm relying on foliage like this beautiful yucca plant. Because I garden in California Zone 9B, sometimes our summers are atrocious. They're so hot, and not everything can handle the heat, but this beautiful yucca does. So I just love this. It adds color to the garden without relying on flowers. You know, sometimes we spend so much money on annuals and flowers, and they only last for a short while. This way, it's one and done. So I like to break up my garden in two different areas. I call this the center of my garden. This is my center iron plant stand. And I call the area back there the back of my garden, where I have 3 wooden vegetable boxes. Now, I don't really grow vegetables in them, but I just call them my veggie boxes. In this one, I have a dwarf Miss Figgy fig tree. Yeah, a dwarf, and look how big it is. Inside there, I have a little succulent on the corner. I did not plant that. I was just cleaning out my succulents and propagating and having fun, and I just kind of tossed a little piece in there, and then bam, it produced this big, beautiful plant. So I'm just going to leave it in there. And inside the center, I still have volunteer sunflowers. I leave those up for the birds because they do provide food. But I have all my nasturtium coming back. Those just come back from seed. And behind that, I have a yellow gilded sun rose, and I have a salvia. I did cut back my Supertunia Vista bubblegum. It was time. And behind the kale, I have 1 kale, 2 kale, is my succulent propagation station, where I have fun and experiment and propagate succulents. And I get all my birdhouses and decorations at the thrift store. I think my favorite is the string of pearls, but I also like the string of rubies. They're so beautiful and so easy to grow. Another thing that's low maintenance is succulents and cacti. You only have to water them once a week. They like to be neglected, so I'm really getting into those lately. Inside these stacked tires, I have a lily turf, and it makes these pretty purple flowers, but they're done blooming. And I have one of those Silver Falls dichondra. It just does so good in this area. Now, I am thinking about removing all my stacked tires. I've gotten so many different mixed comments. Some of you said, no, Liz, be true to yourself. Don't get rid of the tires. But I don't know. I think they look kind of, I don't know. I think I might be over it. And I know a lot of you suggested that I paint them, but the truth is I've done that before. When you paint tires, they look really good for about 6 months. Then the paint starts to fade and they just look really, they don't look good. Who knows? Maybe I will paint them and just enjoy them for a while, then finally replace them with whiskey barrels. I don't know, but you know, I'm always changing things up in the garden, that's for sure. That's what makes a garden so much fun. It's never boring and there's always something new to see. And this is my grandchildren's fairy garden. There's no decorations in here right now because they haven't been over my house in a while, but when they come over, I give them a little bucket with all the little fairy garden decorations I get at the Dollar Tree, and they get to decorate it any way they like. And I have beautiful vinca that are just at their peak right now. I think they're starting to go to seed, being that the weather started cooling down, but I will enjoy them for as long as I can. And over here, behind this beautiful miniature rose, is my water fountain garden. And yes, I do paint all my doors. However, they fade with time, so I do have to repaint them one at a time. You know, that's just the way a garden is. There's always something to redo and plant and change around. Which is why I'm really trying to keep it more low maintenance as I age. I love this little barrel structure. A friend of mine gave that to me when they were moving out of California, and inside I'm growing some agaves. And again, here's another pop of color without depending on flowers. And I just water this hardly, maybe once a week in the summertime, and a barrel cactus. And then really, I don't have to do anything with it, and it always looks pretty. Now we're back to the front of my garden, or the center of my garden, and I would say, considering it's fall, I don't think it looks half bad. This is my iron plant stand that somebody was throwing away, and they gave it to me for free. Inside I have 4 hanging baskets, and inside the baskets on this side I have beautiful creeping Jenny. And I would like to say hello to Kitten from Mountain Harmony Gardening. She also pets her plants. Hi, Kitten and Donnie. I love her channel. She's just so down to earth and so my style. I wish we were neighbors. But yeah, Kitten pets her plants too. And I know we can't be the only ones. So this is creeping Jenny. And believe it or not, but I started out with 1 creeping Jenny plant, and then I just take off a piece with some roots and stick it in soil, and more creeping Jenny everywhere. So this one right here is a trailing, oh my goodness, they just got married and have become friends. This is a trailing vinca. It looks like the creeping Jenny, but this is, I believe it's called vinca minor, and it makes these cute little blue flowers. This would be great for a scarecrow. And over on this side, more creeping Jenny and more trailing vinca. So we have Jenny, Jenny, vinca, vinca. And below that is my beautiful annual vinca. This was such a performer for me all season long. If you live in a hot area that gets lots of sun, I highly recommend you try growing vinca. I grow it every year, and it just adds so much color to my garden, but it doesn't like to be watered a lot. See, that's the confusing part. Most people would think that it needs water every day. Nope, I would say maybe every 3 or 4 days in the summertime. I just recently replaced all the annuals in my vintage bathtub with some fall veggies and flowers. In the center, I have some purple Brussels sprouts, and on each end I have a ruby king cabbage. I just thought it would be kind of fun, and this will enjoy the cooler weather a little bit more, with some snapdragons growing behind it. And in the center, I have a lot of freesias that just came up. That certainly was a surprise. And inside that antique kettle is more creeping Jenny. And yes, that creeping Jenny came from the mother plant. I just took off a piece like I was telling you, stuck it in that kettle, and voila, a beautiful creeping Jenny plant. And that cute little chicken is just a solar light that I bought at the Tractor Supply. I just got it because I think it's a cute decoration. And behind that is my cottage garden. And I think Angel is playing back there somewhere. An old bench I found at a garage sale, and then I painted it. And inside the stacked pots are 2 chrysanthemums. I'm not a big fan of chrysanthemums, but right now it's kind of like the only thing in the garden that has a lot of color. There's Angel. I knew he was up to no good. He is such a brat. Oh my goodness, that little kitten, his personality is shining through, and he is a little brat. But I love him. I don't say that in a bad way. I say it in a very cute and endearing way. Okay, behind the snapdragons is my scarecrow garden. That's Freya the farmer with Lottie the lamb and Petunia the pig. And I am going to put another door behind her, but just like with everything in life, I haven't gotten around to it. Oh my goodness, these two. They're just so cute. And of course, it wouldn't be a garden tour if I didn't show you my brand new bridge garden. I bought this cute little bridge online, then dug some trenches in this area, laid some rock down, and made my very own dry creek. But then I decided to add the blue glass rock just to give it the illusion that it looks like water. And then I added that mirror on right below my kitchen window. I added that mirror to give it the illusion that the water was going around the house, and plus it also hid the wall that I didn't like. And these little lemon coral sedums that I transplanted from the front of my house, they will eventually get bigger, but I think the chartreuse green from the lemon coral sedum will look so pretty next to the blue rocks. And this is my little fisher boy and his fish friend. And yes, John and I have named him. We actually made a video. You know, editing always takes time. If I didn't have to edit videos, I could probably make videos every day. But we did name him, and we will announce that when I'm able to upload the video. This is my narrow space vegetable garden. It's only 3 feet 4 inches wide. I'm not going to take you down there, but I just have to point out, look at my beautiful lunchbox orange peppers. They look like little orange tree. There's so many peppers on them. Again, because I feel, in my opinion, my garden is so small, I just try to make use of every space that I have. But look at all those peppers. I think they're just beautiful. And this is my little sitting area, I call it my cactus corner. Just a couple little chairs I picked up at Tractor Supply with a beautiful cordyline, a pink cordyline growing out of the center. And again, it's a way I add color to my garden without having to keep replacing and replanting annual flowers. And my coleus that I cut back last week, I just thought they were done. I see a lot of new growth. Wow, that is just amazing. And here's a backside view of my little cactus corner and Angel, the little brat. Couple little bottle trees, and my hostas, I think they're just starting to go into dormancy. So this area in my garden I really don't show too much. I don't know, it's just kind of, it's one of those areas that it's kind of undone. It gets shade in the winter and then sun in the summer, and I don't always quite know what to do with it. So just showing you everything. Backside view of my garden. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you have a beautiful day in your garden too. Bye.